South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Hi, I'm Kurt Angle. I represented the United States in the Olympics in 1996 and won a gold medal. Then I parlayed that into a pro wrestling career. I saw a commercial a few years ago.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation made a promise.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is paying off the mortgages for Gold Star families with young children. I thought, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. We didn't have a lot of money, but he made sure we had what we needed. He set a great example for all of us. But he died in a construction accident my freshman year in high school. When he died, we didn't have any income coming in, and we ended up being forced to move out of our house. I was devastated. So I understand what these families are going through, and to have an organization like Tunnel to Towers come in and pick you up and carry you and give you a home to live in, I think that's just amazing. I'd like to ask you to donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
The Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Circuit is back at Los Alamitos Racecourse with 9 great days of racing starting on Friday, June 20th. The opening weekend will feature the $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Plus, the summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, June 28th. We'll also have a holiday racing program on Friday, 4th of July. And our on-track handicapping contest will be on Saturday, June 28th. Daytime racing returns to Los Alamitos. Opening day is Friday, June 20th.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. All righty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program, and we come to you live and direct from the windy and a bit wet gaming capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, right here at the South Point Studios at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on Las Vegas Boulevard in your gaming capital, and of course on the South Point Studios streaming network at YouTube. So we welcome you to the show. We welcome all of you folks negotiating some wet ground out there this morning here in town with our local radio station, Sports Talk 1400 AM, 107.1 FM, and of course all of our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas.world, .global, iPhone, Android, and Google phone, of course, covered with the apps. You just go to your app store and you can hear us through the KSHP app and, of course, see and listen to us through the YouTube app as well, anywhere you get your podcasting in addition to that. Simply put, however, wherever, whenever. Welcome to the Race Day Show as we begin another week of covering the great sport of kings, Las Vegas style. Right now, we're kind of in a little bit of a transition because this week, what we have going on this week is this. We got, of course, the 4th of July, the big 4th of July holiday that comes up on Friday. Usually we kind of think of it as a weekend holiday, but it comes up on Friday because this holiday doesn't float. It always winds up on the 4th day of July. So Friday is July 4th, and of course the town is getting ready for all the big fireworks displays, as you know, that we have here in Las Vegas. And as far as the weather is concerned here in Vegas, in the last day and a half, from about Monday afternoon, when it started getting windy, yesterday, I mean, we had gale force winds. I mean, it was really, and in addition to rain that was coming down, we got a storm that went through here that was pretty much unlike, it was unlike this time of the year. Usually we get the monsoons that show up in the afternoon after all of the elements are right, and we get some afternoon showers with monsoons at this time of the year. But this was not. This was beyond that. This was a lot of rain and a lot of wind. We were fishing out stuff out of the pool, etc. As a matter of fact, I was just telling Jonathan yesterday was trash day here in town in my neighborhood, and the trash can was pretty full. Yet, you know, and you're always wondering, well, when the trash guy comes by and he lifts that thing into the truck, how all the trash is gonna blow away. But that wasn't the case. What was the case was, though, before he got here, or to my place anyhow, the wind was so forceful that it dragged my trash can to my next door neighbor, in front of my next door neighbor's house, twice. I had to go out there twice yesterday. So you get the idea of the wind. But it's all getting settled down now. We got the last remnants coming through right this morning. It should clear up here in Las Vegas by late afternoon. The forecast for the rest of the week looks sunny and beautiful. Now, I don't know about the wind, but it's going to be sunny and beautiful. Always fast, firm, and perfect in the books here. And it's 87 degrees right now. We did cool down because of the wind yesterday. 87 degrees. We're going to get up to only 97 today. It's only going to be a 10-degree difference between the low and the high. And it's going to be a little breezy out there yet today. But it's going to start getting sunny, and that's the way it's going to be for the rest of the week and going into the weekend for 4th of July, in case you're one of the maybe 350,000 people that'll be coming up here for the 4th of July holiday, celebrating the fireworks here in Las Vegas. As you know, they have them up and down the strip and all that. For the weekend, we're going to top out between 105 and 109 degrees, so it's going to be a little toasty. And, of course, we always try to stay hydrated, especially when the sun is shining out there and it gets that hot. Stay hydrated, okay? Just remember that. But that's the way our weekend looks here in Las Vegas, in case you want to come up here and join us here in Vegas for all that we have to offer, including the races in the race book as well. anyhow, that's the weather right now here. The whatever remnants of the rain and the wind is going to be all gone by the time we get off the air, hopefully, here in Las Vegas, in the basin here. As far as the rest of the country is concerned, Miami's 86 degrees. New York is 86 with rain, I guess, there in New York. Chicago is 89 degrees, so you can see it's a little warm in most of those places. And, of course, Los Angeles, 81 degrees. Phoenix, Arizona gets the award for the highest spot in the country again today. It's going to be 105 there in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, taking a look at the racing and the transition this week as far as it's the weather, etc., is concerned for that. Coming up tomorrow will be the opening day of Ellis Park. They closed down. Churchill had a very successful meeting that ended on Sunday. So Ellis Park will start tomorrow. It goes through August 24th. All right? That's Ellis Park switching in Kentucky from Churchill to Ellis. And Ellis is right on the border there to, I believe, Indiana. But it's in the very western part of Kentucky. Okay. Here we go with the Belmont at stuff. Now, it's been like a year and a half now since they're remodeling Belmont Park that all their meets are at something. So now you remember it was Belmont at Aqueduct, then it went Belmont to Saratoga, Belmont at Saratoga for a week, then it went back to Belmont at Aqueduct. Now it's Belmont back at Saratoga for a weekend. You following that bouncing ball? So anyhow, Belmont at Aqueduct, the Aqueduct strip, that ended on Sunday as well. Now we're going to go up to Belmont at Saratoga. Belmont at Saratoga, that starts tomorrow as well. And it's a 4-day deal. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Over the 4th of July weekend, the 4th of July festival will be at Saratoga. It'll be Belmont at Saratoga, 4th of July festival, okay? After that is over, they're going to stay right there at Saratoga. Nobody's going anywhere. And then 1 week from tomorrow, Thursday, we'll actually start the Saratoga meeting with no Belmont anywhere. It'll be Saratoga. Saratoga is going to start 1 week from Thursday. And for those of us that are looking at Southern California as well, Los Alamitos, the small thoroughbred meet they have there at Los Alamitos comes to an end this weekend as well. They'll run Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Last 3 days at Los Alamitos. Then they will close on Sunday. And then there will be a respite of until the 18th of July. That's about 2 weeks afterwards. You're going to get that long stretch there in Southern California. No horse racing because Del Mar will not open. Del Mar opens on the 28th. Del Mar opens on the 18th. On the 18th of July, okay? Del Mar will open on the 18th. Los Alamitos closes this weekend. So you got all those parameters going on as we take the switch into the summertime. But once we get to the summertime racing, as you know, it'll be just great to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner playing the races at those big, beautiful summer meets of Saratoga and Del Mar. So that's how that all figures out. Let's take a look at what happened over the weekend and wrapping up Churchill Downs first. Churchill Downs, of course, it was closing day, which meant a mandatory in that big pick six jackpot, that multi-million-dollar pick six jackpot. They opened the first race with Luis Saez winning for Brad Cox, paying $15.52. And all I got to say was going into the final day, trainer Joe Sharp and Brad Cox were vying for the title for the Churchill Downs spring meeting there. Brad Cox got the first race win with Luis Saez. The second race, Jose Ortiz, that was running away with the jockey standings at Churchill, got his first of multiple winners on Sunday. Jose Ortiz won the second race for Steve Asmussen, paying $4.78. Third race for 2-year-old fillies at 5 furlongs. The winner there was Victory Music for Mike Maker's first win of the day. Edgar Morales aboard, paying $20.60. Then Jose Ortiz came back with his second win of the day in the fourth race for Tom Amos, paying $5.88. And then we went to the sixth race, which was the first in the last 5 races of all stakes, 5 stakes races in a row. Okay? The sixth race was the Bashford Manor for 2-year-olds at 6 furlongs. This highlighted the 2-year-olds. And the Bashford Manor is always the first glimpse into the next year's 3-year-old crop for the Kentucky Derby that runs, of course, there at Churchill Downs. Bashford Manor winner always gets that little bit of an extra look because he won at Churchill Downs. The Bashford Manor winner was Romeo, with Xavier Perez aboard for John Robb, paying $18.70, outrunning Comfort and Password, the big favorite in the race, who finished third in that race. All right. Then we get to the debutante. That was the 7th race on the card. This is for the 2-year-old fillies. And again, a little glance into the future for the Kentucky Oaks next year. That winner was Percy's Bar. Percy's Bar with Luan Machado aboard for Ben Colebrook, paid $8.88, outrunning Jabos and Color coming in, finishing third. Then we went to the Henshin Stakes. At a mile, that winner there was Will Take It, Took It. Will Take It for Brian Hernandez and Dallas Stewart, paid $26.36. Now we're into that, the jackpot pick 6 area. 9th race, the Anchorage. Winner there was Pinup Betty. Pinup Betty gave Luis Saez his second, Luis Saez and Mike Maker their second win of the day, paying $3.78. Then we went to the Maxfield, the 10th race on the card. And Brad Cox got his second win of the day with Verified, paying $7.18. And that tightened the trainer standings real tight between Brad Cox and Joe Sharp. Verified, $7.18. Flavian Proud aboard that one. Smokin' Wicked was second. Captain Cook was third. And in the final race, a maiden race that wrapped up the Churchill Downs season, Mazerat wins for Irad Ortiz Jr. That was a selection on the show on Sunday by Jonathan Hardoon. He said he's going to give us a singleton in the last race and the pick 6, and he did. Mazerat with Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard for Brendan Walsh, paid $7.18. You put it all together, the pick 6 with that massive carryover was won by a lot of people, but it still paid well because there was over $1.4 million extra money in the pot. The pick 6 paid $9,524.28 in the mandatory at Churchill Downs on Sunday. When they wrapped it all up, the 43-day meet had a handle increase of 8.1%. And taking out the Kentucky Derby Day, because the Kentucky Derby was part of this meet, if you extracted the Kentucky Derby Day handle and then just added up the other 42 of it, it still had a 7.7% increase in handle. So they had a good meet there at Churchill Downs. Final standings, Jose Ortiz ran away with the jockey standings. He won 63 races. Luis Saez, even with his multiple wins on Sunday as well as Jose, Luis Saez finished second at 47. As far as the trainers were concerned, off of his title win at the fairgrounds this past fairground season, Joe Sharp put it all together and hung on to win the Churchill Downs trainer standings with 20 wins. Brad Cox had 19, and 2 of those came on the final day. So that was close there at Churchill Downs, and that's how they wound up the Churchill Downs meet. Very successful meet there. Los Alamitos on Sunday, Peter Miller and Diego Herrera got together for a win in the second race at 17:40. Tyler Bays and Steve Knapp got together to win the fourth race at 8:40. Knapp came back with his second win with Tiago Piera paying $11.20. And Diego Herrera came back with his second win of the day with Leonard Powell in the seventh race paying $62.80. And Tiago Pereira came back with his second win of the day in the 8th race, paying $10.80. Altogether, the pick four, the late pick four, just 4 races now, the late pick four, $49, $11.20, $62.80, and $10.80. The late pick four paid $24,840.60 at Los Al on Sunday. Nobody had 6 in the pick 6, but nobody had 5 either. 4 out of 5 paid $296.80. They got a carryover at Los Alamitos when they return to the races in Southern California on 4th of July, Friday. Belmont at Aqueduct, finally finishing it off, the Belmont at Aqueduct deal. First race winner, Chad Brown and Manny Franco got together paying $840. Second race, Chris Elliott and Amelia Green got together and paid $750. Brown came back with his second win of the day with Dylan Davis in the third race, paying $21.20. Chris Elliott came back for his second win, coupled with Wayne Potts, paying $10 even. Kendrick Carmouche ripped off 3 in a row. He started in the 5th race for Todd Pletcher at $580. The 6th race, paying $780. And the 7th race for Rob Atras, paying $780 as well. In the John Hediger Stakes, the winner there was Sunday Girl, who won on Sunday. For Katie Davis and David Dugan, paying $7.20. Silver Skillet was second. Loon Cry was third. So the filly, named Sunday Girl, won on Sunday with a lady rider. So there's your hunch bet of the day on Sunday, $7.20 there for the win. And then the last race winner, American Grant, got there with a perfect ride under Ricardo Santana for Bruce Brown and for Jonathan Hardoon. He gave us that horse in the last race on the show on Sunday, paying $17 even for the win. Congratulations, Jonathan, on that nice pick at Belmont at Aqueduct on Sunday. The pick 6 paid $18,067.50. And at Monmouth Park, keeping track of Paco Lopez. Lopez only had 2 wins on Monmouth Park on Sunday, paying $2.10 and $7 respectively. In the Boiling Spring Stakes, Alex Concepcion won for Brendan Walsh on site. No More, paying $12.80. And in the Merrifield Stakes, I should say, in the Merrifield Stakes, Mr. Leon won on Not Too Late for Uriah St. Louis, paying $18.20 at Monmouth. And that's the way it went on Sunday, wrapping up those. Of course, Monmouth continues to race as well. All right. Just want to take a look at some news. I'm gonna just do a final reflection of D. Wayne Lucas with our handicappers today. A lot of letters, a lot of statements came in from all organizations and all trainers, etc., on the passing of D. Wayne Lucas. Really an icon, a cornerstone of the way the trainers train nowadays, and their stables across the country. D. Wayne Lucas. Charleston Racecourse. Charleston is getting a 10% purse increase from the betting over there. So Charleston will have a 10% purse increase in the next condition book for the horses there. And they're going to run 3 more days than they normally would. They're adding 3 days to their meet as well. All this money as a result of all of the gaming money that's a percentage that goes to the horse racing. That's good stuff. Mindframe might very well join Fierceness in the Whitney Stakes at Saratoga on August the 2nd. Now, I got to tell you that you put Fierceness and Mindframe together, and that's going to be a formidable pair in the Whitney. I don't know if they'll couple them because the same ownership because of New York Racing. But anyhow, Todd Pletcher is now looking at Mindframe as well as Fierceness for the Whitney on August 2nd at Saratoga. And Mindframe became the number 1 horse in the top thoroughbred poll of the National Thoroughbred Racing Association this week. Mindframe got 11 points overall. Raging Torrent, 2nd. Sovereignty, 3rd. Fierceness, 4th. Torpedo Anna, 5th. That rounds out the top 5 point getters in the weekly poll for the top thoroughbred. The bottom 5 are Journalism, Sierra Leone, Copion, Whiteout Barrow, and Locked. And Locked will go this weekend in the Suburban, I believe, at Saratoga. We'll get into some of those races right after our first break. I want to remind you that today we got Jonathan Hardoon with us, Rich Eng, and if it's Wednesday, it's, of course, Dwayne Colucci from the Rampart. He'll be with us as well. John Lendo's even going to check in, too, and we'll see if we can get a pick or two out of our handicappers. Very slim pickings today for our handicappers because none of the racetracks that they handicap on a regular basis are running today, but we'll see if we can extract maybe a winner out of Dwayne and Rich Eng as well. So let's get to our first break, and when we come back, give you a racing menu for today. And, of course, we'll head on out with our handicappers, starting off with Jonathan Hardoon. So don't go away. We'll be right back on the Race Day Show. And don't forget to get to the YouTube page. When you get to the YouTube page, of course, you'll have you can get it. Start chatting away on the chat box. All you have to do is subscribe. Subscription is free. The chatters are chatting away, so you might want to join them as well. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
The Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Circuit is back at Los Alamitos Racecourse with 9 great days of racing starting on Friday, June 20th. The opening weekend will feature the $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Plus, the summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, June 28th. We'll also have a holiday racing program on Friday, 4th of July. And our on-track handicapping contest will be on Saturday, June 28th. Daytime racing returns to Los Alamitos. Opening day is Friday, June 20th.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Before we get your racing menu, let's see what's coming up this weekend here as far as the racing is concerned as we make our shift. Tomorrow, on Thursday, of course, Belmont at Saratoga will open for its 4-day 4th of July festival. Got a couple of stakes races tomorrow at Saratoga. One's a Grade 3. On Friday, 4th of July, 6 tracks has 15 stakes races overall. Belmont at Saratoga will have 5 stakes races, 1 Grade 1, a Grade 2, and a Grade 3, and 2 others. It'll include, of course, the Belmont Derby and the Suburban as 2 of their big races there at Saratoga for Belmont Park on the 4th of July day racing program. Prairie Meadows will have 4 stakes races. Horseshoe Indianapolis will have 2. Presque Isle Downs will have 1. Gulfstream Park will have a stakes race. Ellis Park will have 1 as well. That's all on Friday, 4th of July. On Saturday, the 5th of July, obviously, Belmont at Saratoga will come back with 3 more stakes races. They'll be highlighted by the Belmont Oaks, a Grade 1 and 2 Grade 3s. Prairie Meadows will continue their stakes races. They'll have 4 more stakes races on Saturday that will include the Prairie Meadows Derby and the Prairie Meadows Oaks. Horseshoe Indianapolis will have 8 stakes races on its card on Saturday, and they will also feature their Derby and Oaks. Gulfstream Park will have a couple of races. Evangel Downs is going to have a couple of races, and there'll be a stakes race each at Delaware Park, Monmouth, Woodbine, and Los Alamitos. And in Los Alamitos, the Grade 2 Great Lady M that's going to pit 2 great fillies together there. And as far as Sunday, just wrapping it up with the Ellis Park and Monmouth Park with a stakes race each. But as the weekend goes by, the Belmont Derby is going to highlight the Euros against the American horses. Final Gambit is among those. In the Suburban, as I say, Locked will head up the Suburban. In the Manila Stakes, Zulu Kingdom, that was scratched, I believe, at Churchill Downs last week, goes in the Manila as a big horse there. The Robert Dick Memorial at Delaware Park has Grand Motion has a couple of stakes horses in there. In the Indiana Derby at Horseshoe Indianapolis, and the Instant Replay Stakes, the Instant Replay and Magnitude will head up the Indiana Derby. They'll also have the Indiana Oaks. Brad Cox has 3 there. In the Great Lady M at Los Alamitos, it's going to pit Copion against Sweet Azteca. Copion and Sweet Azteca. But don't forget, Bob Baffert has an entry in that race. Richie, a winner of her last race as well. That's in the race at Los Alamitos, okay? And that is, of course, Copion and Sweet Azteca. Okay, in any case, moving on, at the Iowa Derby, as I say, has also Magnitude in that. Steve Asmussen cross-entered that with the Indiana Derby as well. So we'll wait and see which race Magnitude runs in that in the Iowa Derby. It's going to be cross-entered there. The Iowa Oaks, Brad Cox and Saffie Joseph Jr. have entries in those races. In the Belmont Oaks, Fione and Nitrogen will go back at it again. And in the Sanford Stakes for 2-year-olds, we'll get a chance to see some 2-year-olds there at Belmont at Saratoga. I believe the entries in the Sanford, none of the 2-year-olds in that race are a winner of their last race, so they're all looking maybe to cash a maiden win in the Sanford. And the Kelso Stakes there will feature Donegal Momentum and Heat, I should say Neat, and Yo Daddy. So we got some really nice horses that are going to be going over the weekend at those racetracks. All right, time to get started with your racing menu. Reminding you, as we always do, the first post times we broadcast on the racing menu each and every day reflect that of the Pacific time zone. So if you're here in Las Vegas watching these races, betting these races here at the South Point Racebook, these will be the first post times that roll out in the racebook today. We are in the Pacific time zone. If you're listening on any other time zone around the world with all of our platforms that we broadcast over, and you're in another time zone, obviously, just tweak, adjust it from whatever time zone you're in to the Pacific time zone, and then you won't miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad, okay? Here we go. We begin with Delaware Park. Delaware Park has 7 races. I understand they're off the turf today at Delaware Park. First post time is at 9:30 at Delaware Park. Belterra Park is next. They have 8 races. Their first post time at Belterra is set at 9:35 at Belterra. Parks Racing has a carryover today in their Pick 5 jackpot. Pick 5 jackpot carryover at Parks today is $233,102. $233,102 in the Pick 5 jackpot at Parks Racing. 10 races. First post time is at 9:40. Finger Lakes is next. They've got 9 races. Their first post time is at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. at Finger Lakes. Horseshoe Indianapolis has 9 races. 8 thoroughbreds. The final race will be a quarter horse stakes race today at Horseshoe Indianapolis. First post time is at 11:10. And then we got Presque Isle Downs. Presque Isle Downs has 8 races today with a first post time of 12:30. And we wrap it up on this light menu of the day at Canterbury Park. 9 races, 7 thoroughbred races. Last 2 races will be quarter horses. Their first post time is at 3 o'clock at Canterbury Park. And that's the racing menu for today. All right, let's get out to Jonathan Hardoon standing by. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm fine. How's the weather out there in your part of the country?
It's actually a beautiful day. It's about 80 degrees, and they're expecting nice weather through the weekend, so that's good news for Belmont at Saratoga.
Well, we got some interesting contests at Belmont at Saratoga this weekend. Of course, I'm kind of waiting to see how Locked performs in the Suburban. That ought to be a goodie.
Yeah, Friday they have 4 terrific stake races here. Tomorrow's opening day, but Friday I think they have is the better card. Tomorrow they open up with 11 races. They're going to run a lot of races here early. Again, the official opening obviously is next week, but both Friday and Thursday and Friday they do open up with 11 races on hand, I should say. And Zulu Kingdom, the horse you were talking about, he was entered last Friday night, if you remember, at Penn National. Chad Brown scratched all his horses, and he opts to run him back on Friday.
Yeah, in addition to all those, that great stakes race at Saratoga, the older division, I know that this is a race that's kind of off the beaten track now, but it had such a rich history. The Cornhusker will be renewed at Prairie Meadows this weekend, and I can tell you that Red Route 1 is one of two Asmussen trainees. Cox has a horse in there, and so does McPeak. But at one time, the Cornhusker was a big deal.
Yeah, not so much in the last couple of years, but it certainly in the past has been.
Well, now looking at the 5 races, the big stakes races that are happening on 4th of July, and that's Friday, the Schuylerville at 6 furlongs, and then you have the Manila, a grade 3 on the turf, on the inner turf course at a mile. The Belmont Derby, it's an invitational, grade 1 on the turf at a mile and 1/8 for $750,000, I might add. The Suburban, which is the race that, of course, Locked is in, and looking at Locked in that, there's only 8 horses in the race, but Locked draws post 4. Jose Ortiz is going to ride for Todd Pletcher. And I'm kind of excited to see how this horse is going to progress through the rest of the year. Maybe he's going to get to the point where he's right there with Fierceness and Mind Frame and the others.
Absolutely. Not only that, Ralph, on Friday he gets to go 1.25 miles, and I think that's his best distance, being out of a gun runner. Jose Ortiz is going to re-ride. Last time out in the Alley Sheba at Churchill Downs, he didn't run that well, but Fierceness just dominated that day. And there are no fiercenesses in this race, and I think Locked is going to have an easy time of it. But remember, Saratoga is the graveyard of favorites.
Yes, it is. It is. They say graveyard of favorites, graveyard of champions, etc. Remember, the great man of war got beat by a horse.
Secretariat got beat by Onion.
Secretary, Secretary, I believe Secretary got beat twice at Saratoga. No, I'm not mistaken.
Saratoga?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but
Once I know for sure. Maybe you're right. Could be 2.
But in any case, we get the picture, that's for sure. But it's going to be an exciting weekend. And finally, after all of this Belmont at, finally winds up over the 4th of July weekend, and then we really get into real Saratoga a week from Thursday.
That's correct. So this is the last of the Belmonts at, hopefully in another year or so, we'll just have regular Belmont, and really can't wait for the opening. It's supposed to be spectacular, Ralph.
Now, Jonathan, let me ask you this. You live up there at Saratoga Springs. You live up there at Saratoga. Is the town starting to hop right now?
Oh, it's been hopping, yeah. It starts hopping. Actually, after the Belmont Stakes, it certainly hops that week, then it cools down, but now it's getting crazy. You can already see the town is busy this morning, and tomorrow's opening day. And again, officially opening day is next week, but people are coming up early.
Well, if there's horses running at Saratoga, they really don't care what the name is. All they know
exactly.
It's running at Saratoga. A place that everybody enjoys going to, especially at this time of the year. And I would think that some people after the Belmont Festival just stayed up there and waited for the racing to come back.
Yeah. Well, people rent houses here specifically, so it's not so easy because all of a sudden from 6 weeks it becomes 2 months. And, the people that are living in the homes still have kids that are in school. So not always doesn't work out, but there are a lot of people that have come and stayed.
Do kids still go to school, by the way? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're doing stuff on their phones and computers and all that stuff. I have no idea if they're still actually going to a physical building anymore. But in any case, we get the picture for that. A last thought or two about D. Wayne Lucas.
Well, we kind of covered it all last week, and you could spend a month talking about, all the accomplishments he's had in the game, and he certainly belongs on the Mount Rushmore of people involved in thoroughbred horse racing. He had an amazing career, an amazing life. He lived it till the fullest, Ralph. He was on a horse. He was on horseback just a few months ago, and it came and went fast, I guess, but it said so many ups, so many downs, and just an icon in the game. And again, all the branches off the trees, the Todd Pletchers, the Dallas Stewarts, the Kieran McLaughlins, all of these are products of D. Wayne Lucas.
Yeah, not even
all with the white bridles too, if I may remind you.
Yes, that's right. He was such a perfectionist when it came to his stable and the way his horses looked when they made it onto the racetrack, etc. It, I believe, was an underlying factor of his respect for the business and the horses. I really do.
Yeah, he did a lot of great things to promote the game, Ralph. Later on in his career, whenever he had a winner, he would go outside and bring kids in that had nothing to do with the horses,
Right.
but he brought them into the winner circle to make sure they get that experience of getting your picture taken.
Yep.
And all he did was make lifelong fans out of those kids, believe me.
Well, there have been statements released from all of the racing associations, etc. And Santa Anita, of course, said they joined the racing community in mourning the passing of trainer D. Wayne Lucas, grateful for his legacy, and they'll always cherish the part of the great race place that he had, a true transformation. Said that Wayne's full-time foray into thoroughbred racing began in 1977 at Santa Anita with a winner named Current Concept. So they've got that in their corner to remember him for sure. And, of course, the Breeders' Cup said, along with thoroughbred racing, they mourn the passing of D. Wayne Lucas as well. From the inaugural 1984 running of the Breeders' Cup, where he saddled 3 starters to 2024, he sent out his Breeders' Cup contenders. Wayne set the bar in constant pursuit of the pinnacle of their great sport. And that was from the Breeders' Cup. And, of course, other racetracks that he has raced at, the National HBPA and Kentucky HBPA put out a statement as well that said, "No one will match what D. Wayne Lucas did in horse racing. Others, and if you already have, may win more Triple Crown races, more Breeders' Cup races, and train more champions, but no one will ever match D. Wayne Lucas." And, of course, that was from them. Oaklawn Park, which I believe was one of his last winners there. They said that they respected a lot of what he did there, and of course all of his memories there. And the last one that I got anyhow was from the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame, where they also said that they were saddened of his passing. It said Wayne was one of racing's most iconic figures, and his achievements and impact on the sport have been nothing short of remarkable. His passion for racing and his presence in the game will be greatly missed. There will never be another D. Wayne Lucas, and the museum sends its condolences to the Wayne's family. His legacy will be forever admired. And I guess that kind of concludes that we concur.
That sums it up, Ralph. Yeah, that about sums it up. And how many trainers were in both the Quarter Horse Hall of Fame and the Racing Thoroughbred Hall? He's the only guy that made it to both Hall of Fame.
He's the only one that had that high honor of in the Quarter Horse Hall of Fame and the Thoroughbred Hall of Fame. And I forgot, John Lindo mentioned this to me, that iconic quarter horse of the 70s and 80s, Dash for Cash, was his. He trained him.
Yeah, he mentioned on the show last week, and John was 100% right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, I know one thing for sure. You don't have a pick for us today because you have no sheets today. You must have went crazy yesterday not handicapping anything.
Actually, I was driving in a rainstorm back from Long Island. Ralph. It rained so hard a 3-hour trip took about 7 hours. So not fun, but the weather today is beautiful, and it will remain beautiful throughout the weekend.
Well, and that's good for Saratoga because we know how the weather can change, but hoping for great racing over the 4th of July holiday. Belmont at the Saratoga Holiday Festival there. And I know that with not having to worry about handicapping or picking today, nice winner, by the way, on Sunday, $17. That was a nice one. And I got a perfect ride, too. That kid rode him perfectly.
Ricardo Santana really hung a terrific trip on that horse. He was traveling terrific throughout, and that was nice. $17 works. And a single in the pick six at Churchill also helped.
Yeah, yes, that's right. You also gave us a single there. So on those accolades, we'll expect more from you starting tomorrow when we get back to business. How about that?
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
We threw the gauntlet down to you, pal. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jonathan. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got Rich Eng standing by. I do believe Richie does have a pick for us today, and we'll get that right after this. Don't go away.
Here we are in Houston, opening up our first veteran village. This beautiful building that's going to house 161 homeless veterans. Any veteran that risked their lives and are struggling with PTSD, mental illness, addiction. We're also building what I call comfort homes, 500 square foot homes. These are for older homeless veterans, so they have their own space and give them back some of their dignity, some of their independence, and most certainly give them back their life. Go to T2T.org to learn how you can change a veteran's life forever.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
Alrighty, back on Race Day Las Vegas for this Wednesday. Now time to go out to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners.
Well, Richie, you weren't with us over the weekend, so I will ask you a thought about D. Wayne Lucas.
Well, people like you and me, Ralph, have had the opportunity to do work with Wayne Lucas. He was always pleasant to work with, always very accommodating, and all the stakes races, obviously, what a legacy he leaves. But I think the biggest thing, Ralph, is the trainer tree that Wayne Lucas leaves, because that tells me that Wayne Lucas not only was a mentor, but he was willing to share his knowledge with others and then help them get started in their own stables and training careers. That's an unusual man who not only is interested in his own success, but is willing to get other people started on their success. And, you got Todd Pletcher and Dallas Stewart, Mike Maker, George Weaver. But there were some trainers who are not in the not training anymore, like Kieran McLaughlin and Randy Bradshaw and Bobby Barnett. There are so many men that Wayne Lucas helped get started.
Well, he was a teacher and before as a profession in the education system, and certainly calling him the coach. So he knew how to teach people and get the best out of them with athletes and students as well. He had that knack, as well as being a hell of a horseman. So there will never be another D. Wayne Lucas. Hey, you got a pick for us today?
Yeah, one thing before I give the pick is I want to make one editorial comment about the races this weekend. Mm-hmm. A horse that I have been dying to see on the grass is finally on the grass for the first time. After Final Gambit won the Jeff Ruby at Turfway Park, if you remember, he came from about 20 lanes back on the top of to win going away. I said, this is a turf horse, and he finally makes his turf debut in the Belmont Derby. I really hope he's a square price because I'm going to tell people right now that's where I'm going on the Belmont Derby is Final Gambit. As far as the horse for today, race number 6 at Delaware Park. I know they're off the turf, don't know the condition of the main track, but regardless, I like the number 7, Game Time Gladiator, Jamie Ness, who wins 25-30% of his starts in the Mid-Atlantic states. This horse is in a great spot to sit a trip and rally. Let's go with the 7, Game Time Gladiator, race 6.
All right, you got Game Time Gladiator, the 7 horse in the 6th race today at Delaware Park. And that Belmont Derby comes up on 4th of July, so we'll wait for your confirmation of your pick there on Friday. Thanks a lot, Richie.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Good luck, everybody.
All right, we're going to go to Dwayne Calochi standing by at Rampart. Dwayne, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, my man. Well, we got a little bit of a transition week going on now from all those meets that closed up over the weekend, and now we're looking ahead to the 4th of July weekend. Of course, it'll start off on Friday with the 4th of July, and you guys, I'm sure, have a lot in the bank as far as offerings there at the Rampart for the holiday weekend.
Yeah, we're geared up for Saratoga, definitely. And, it's good to see Saratoga running on the 4th of July. Got Ellis Park opening up. Like you said, everything changed. And, great weekend of racing at Churchill the past weekend. It was just fabulous. And, what great racing and just what a great product that adds to our handle at the Rampart. And I'm sure it does at the South Point, too. But we're ecstatic about the 4th of July weekend and some great racing ahead. You've been covering it all. I mean, you have the Belmont Derby, you have the Suburban, you have so much going on. Then you add into the mix, Horseshoe Indianapolis has great racing, and Prairie Meadows, all these tracks. So, horse racing's full circle, Ralph. It's great to see it really gaining some momentum once again here in Nevada.
No question about that. And I know, Dwayne, that when you come with us on Wednesdays, you search out a horse for us. So what do you got today?
I'm trying. We're going to go Horseshoe Indianapolis in the 8th race. Hopefully this horse will stay in. The turf course is weird there. If it just showers, they're going to take everything off the turf. So I'm going with the 1 horse, Uncle John. It's a Mike Maker horse. You're getting Ramos in the saddle. He's at about 20% right now. Maker at about 15% at Horseshoe Indianapolis. He's coming off a nice win at Gulfstream Park, and he's, actually staying at the same level, if not dropping a little. So I think this horse will definitely take a lot of action, and he's going to be on the lead if everything works out at the break well for him, and I definitely think he has a winner's chance. So we're going to go with race 8 at Horseshoe Indianapolis, the 1 horse, Uncle John, for you Grateful Dead fans out there.
Right, Uncle John, Mike Maker, the trainer there, is the horse that you have number 1 in the 8th race today at Horseshoe Indianapolis. Hey, thanks a lot, Dwayne, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, definitely, Ralph. Thanks for having me on, and let's have a great weekend of horse racing.
You better believe it, my man. Thanks a lot. And don't forget to check out Dwayne if you're up in that part of the country in the northern part, Summerlin area at the Rampart. And if you don't, that's your first bad beat. You got to get there. Thanks a lot, Dwayne. Okay, now we're going to go to John Lindo to wrap up our show. We're kind of moving along on our show. John Lindo, I got to tell you, I keep telling everybody to get the Lindo Report because, there's a lot to offer in the Lindo Report every day. And on Sunday at Los Alamitos, you didn't give this horse out, but it was on your sheet. Now, you had a top-rated horse on your sheet in the 7th race at Los Alamitos. Don't Tell Our Wives was the name of the show. That was your top-rated horse, your top pick. That was the horse that paid $62.80. Got to tell you, folks, if you don't get that Lindo Report every day here at the South Point, you are missing it. John Lindo, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. Yeah, that was nice. Los Alamitos has a reputation of being very chalky, but that has not been the case of this meet. It's been a very fair meet.
Yeah, no question about that. I think that, when a lot of people see prohibitive favorites there, and there have been the key ones that have won, but yet it's been very rich in chances to make money there at Los Al this year.
Right, and then that they left us a carryover in the pick six for when they get back to racing on Friday at 14,000. So it'll be a good closing week. We've got the big race on Saturday, the Great Lady M. I'm looking forward to that. They'll enter today. I'm expecting Copion to be in there, and some other good fillies in there too.
I can tell you this, that I thought I saw they might have already entered that. I'm not sure, but I'll take a look at the Great Lady M. Let me see if I can find it. Los Alamitos. Well, maybe they haven't yet, but we're looking for Copion, and of course the other filly you were talking about, Sweet Azteca, who won it last year. But I believe the Bob Bafferts are going to throw in Richie in that race too.
He'll be represented. I'm not sure if it's going to be Richie or somebody else, but I think Richie is the one he was looking at. It's a grade 2 with a $200,000 purse. Bob Baffert will be involved.
Your Linda Report, what's it doing this week?
The July 4th festival at Saratoga, each racing day, Thursday through Sunday, and I'll get back and do the closing weekend at Los Alamitos, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All
right, and tomorrow, of course, we're still waiting for those meets to click in, right?
Right. Saratoga opens tomorrow, so we'll have coverage of that. And then I'll be out in Las Vegas this weekend. I'll join you there in studio Friday and Saturday. Yeah, we're dusting off the seat right next to me. You'll be here on Friday and Saturday. It'll be a lot of fun for the 4th of July weekend. And, of course, you'll return with the Linda Report tomorrow, covering the races on opening day at Belmont at Saratoga. We get to use that phrase just one more time over the weekend, and then it'll finally be Saratoga. But it's looking ahead to Saratoga and Del Mar right around the corner, man, with those meets, and we got to love those. It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. Hey, John, I want to thank you so much for just stopping by and chewing the fat a little with us, that's for sure, but I wanted to highlight the $62 horse that was on your sheet. I know you didn't give it out on the show, but remember, folks, these guys, their full body of work is something that you ought to get every day in the Linda Report here, exclusively, only here at the South Point in Las Vegas, that's for sure. John, one more thing to say, buddy. Have a great race day, everybody.